This is going to be a super authentic interview because I've never met you before.
Perfect.
Welcome to Songs and Stories with Caroline Parke. I'm here at the 4th Meridian Brewing Company in Lloydminster, Alberta, the hockey town, the oil field town, and little did you know, the songwriting capital of Alberta. We have lots of talented songwriters around here, and today I'm sitting down with Tom Hall. Tom, thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here.
How long have you been writing songs for?
Whew, you know what? It's one of those things where it kind of creeps up on you. So the first recording that I made, I think I was about 13 or 14 years old, and that was an original one. So I mean, we're coming up on too many years, like 20, 25 years, somewhere in that area.
I'd say you're seasoned then, hey?
You bet, yeah.
Yeah. How old were you when you first got your first instrument?
My first instrument I actually inherited from my father. He had an old beat up guitar that he kind of kept in the basement. He used to play in a band when he was in university called the Alligator Skins. And it kind of just sat there for years and years. He had more or less forgotten how to play, according to what he said. But he knew enough to kind of teach me a couple of things, a couple of chords, a G, C, a D, and maybe an E minor.
Sometimes that's all you need.
It is, absolutely.
Like, to get going anyhow.
Yeah. So that's kind of what got me started. And then I took it from there, and, it was the age of the internet. So I jumped on Ultimate Guitar and other, other wonderful websites for artists, and just kind of taught myself the basics and progressed from there.
So you were 13 when you started, and then the internet was already there.
The internet was there.
That's really nice and convenient.
They happened almost contemporaneously, honestly. We lived out of town, so we had the old dial-up where it would make all those noises at you and stuff, and take 10 minutes to load a single page. I remember those days. So without dating myself too much, it's been a long and very rewarding endeavor. Like music in general, not just songwriting, but playing, performing, all of the aspects that come along with it has been one of the great pleasures of my life, for sure.
What kind of places do you perform?
That's also kind of evolved over the course of my playing. So when I first started, we had a wonderful arts program at my high school called the Positive Choices Leadership Program, and we toured around to different high schools and sang songs and did performances for acting and things, and dance as well.
Wow.
So I was involved with that pretty heavily from grade 8 all the way through to grade 12. And that was a dipping the toe in the water, so to speak.
Right.
And then after that, I went away to university. I played in a band there as well. We started up, it was more of like a kind of heavy rock, sort of 70s-ish band.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The band's name is Alasador, and we put out a couple of tracks, all original music, and that was at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. So had a great time there, and then took a year off to do a little bit of traveling, and went to Australia, did a couple shows down there. I was very fortunate that...
like with a band or solo?
No, just solo shows, yeah.
Okay.
So I brought my guitar with me, and with the hopes of maybe making a little bit of supplemental income while we were backpacking.
Yeah.
And we did. We were there for 6 months, me and another fellow that I played football with at Queen's. And
the humidity changes didn't cause you any grief on your instrument?
Nothing that, I mean, it probably did, but nothing that I would have noticed.
No
right?
deal breaker.
So, no deal breakers.
Okay.
At this point, right, I'm a university student. My instruments aren't top cream of the crop.
I guess
top of the line. So.
Yeah.
So they were pretty hardy, and it traveled everywhere with us. Did a couple shows down there, came back, decided to switch schools, and went to the East Coast. And that's really where I think my musical journey started to take shape. I had a weekly gig at a place in Wolfville, Nova Scotia called the Library Pub. And it's maybe like I would say it can't be more than 150 square feet. Like a very tiny little pub in a university town, always filled with energy, always filled with, music and life. And I played there every week, every Thursday throughout the next 2 years. And then came back.
What a great place to grow.
Yeah.
Like as a musician. And did you do covers and originals or?
Mostly covers, right?
Okay,
because you're playing in a pub, people want to play along and sing along with what they,
familiar
what they
stuff.
know.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I did every once in a while. I'd throw in an original to see how it did and kind of gauge it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that, I came back to Saskatchewan. I came back for law school at U of S and continued to play. Ever since then. So I had I would say monthly gig at a place called Finn McCool's in Saskatoon, where I would show up, and the owners there were wonderful. They treated me really well, and it's always just been sort of a passion project for me. It's never been something where I actively wanted to pursue it to the point where it became stressful.
Right.
And to me, that was a kind of a bright line test of I don't want it to be that, and I never want it to be that.
Right.
So, if I ever felt like it was getting to be too much, I would just take a step back, and I've really enjoyed having that. Because it really keeps it as a passion as opposed to making it a job or a chore.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you think that if you had to make a living doing it, that your songwriting would be different?
Great question. I do.
Yeah.
I think without a doubt it would be different. What's authentic isn't always relatable in terms of sales, right? Especially when you're talking about making a living doing something like songwriting. I think that there's, the formulas that are out there for successful pop songs and stuff are there for a reason. They sell, but it's not always the message, and it's not always the format really that you as an artist expresses your individuality and your art.
Of all the songs that you've written, do you have some that have risen to the top, like in your mind? Like, I often refer to my songs as, this is my big hit from 2021 or whatever, in my mind, right? Yeah. Like the ones that I find are better received or... Yeah.
I would say, I think the best songs that I've written get the most attention and get the most work from me. So I wouldn't say that I have necessarily a favorite. There are certain lines I think that are my favorites where, you write it down and you're just alone in your own little station writing down and playing along and stuff and going,
Yeah.
So there's definitely a couple of lines that I've written like that, but in terms of, and those can often carry a song as well. But in terms of the songs that I think are my own best work, those are the ones that get the most attention and that I'm actually familiar with. For every one song that there is like that, I would say there's probably another 10 or 15 that are on the cutting room floor.
Right. Yeah. Waiting for someone to walk by and shine it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Sometimes I feel like I have mediocre songs, and I thought, if I gave them to the right person at the right time, it could be something special. But there's a time and a place for those, right?
Yeah.
Do you find that you're pretty meticulous in your songwriting as far as keeping things organized?
I have a notebook specifically for this task.
Okay.
I also will iterate. So if I've got a notebook that's kind of a catch-all where I have an idea, because it kind of lightning strikes wherever and whenever.
Yeah.
Right? So I have my own notebooks that I use for writing and everything, not necessarily just songwriting, but I'll scribble a little notation in there. If it's good, I'll come back to it and develop it. And then if it makes it into the song binder, then that song has made it.
It's arrived.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I have a workbook too. If they're good enough that they're flowering, then I'll type them into my songs in progress document.
Okay. So, I like that.
Yeah. And then I copy them from there out to different albums that I start organizing themes and stuff like that.
Nice.
But do you have anything recorded yet?
I do. Nothing professionally recorded. With the exception of Alasador, we did I think a 3-song EP.
Okay.
And didn't really release it on any major platforms. We just kind of sat on it for a while. But
okay.
I still go back and listen to that, and I absolutely love it. Those songs I didn't write. A fellow by the name of Shane Godden wrote those songs. And we've kept in touch a little bit over the years, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, that was my band in university. And so, every maybe 3 or 4 years we'll get in touch, but should definitely be more, that's for sure.
I just wonder if you should release those songs. Or are they pretty, were they live off the floor recordings?
They were live off the floor, but that being said, I'm really happy with the way that they turned out. The recording studio that we went to was the same one where Bedouin Soundclash would have recorded When the Night Feels My Song, right? Kingston is a very vibrant music community.
Right.
Of course, you've got the hip, right? Gord Downey, that's where he's from. I'm really happy with the way that they turned out, and especially because of the genre. You can get away with a little bit more, right? If it almost feels a little bit more authentic when there is imperfections and the drum beat isn't to a clicky,
track, right?
And it's not MIDI.
Well, there's emotion, right?
Exactly.
And there's human error, which is it's relatable.
Exactly.
More so. So where would you classify your music style, do you think?
I try my best to bridge a bunch of different styles. And I know that's a little bit of a non-answer, but
it's really good. It's good. Yeah. So if you could pick 5 genres that you're
5 genres. Into. Okay, I would say definitely indie acoustic sort of stuff, Jack Johnson, Ed Sheeran, Angus and Julia Stone. That type of vibe. I'd say that's kind of my primary genre, but I'll also draw on Stevie Wonder for certain riffs and some funk stuff where it fits. But the tough part is fitting it all together, right? So indie, funk, definitely a lot of 70s and 80s stuff. I love classic rock, Fleetwood Mac. I mean, you can't beat their songwriting. Yeah, exactly, right? So 90s pop and rap as well. I've got a couple in there that even if it's not a rap song, to have that cadence that carries the tune and has a rhythm to it. There's actually a line in an Ed Sheeran song that I think is brilliant, and he says, "I'm not a rapper, I'm a singer with a nice flow." And that's kind of how I think of myself too. I like when things flow really well, but I wouldn't necessarily call it rap.
Right. Yeah. Neato.
Yeah.
So I've been told to ask you about a college room dorm writing session.
Yes.
What's all this about?
So I think I know which one you're talking about. Again, so while I was going to university out on the East Coast, playing a weekly show at a very small but loving pub, I recorded a video and just did a quick sort of, honestly, the whole thing probably took me about 40 minutes to write, record, and play through and then post. And
you did it all in one day?
And I did it all in about 40 minutes.
Really? Okay.
Not taking it seriously or anything like that.
Right.
It was meant to be a joke of a song.
Yeah.
And lighthearted and fun, but still have some good musicality to it, right? So the song is called White Boy Can Rhyme. And that's the one, if there's ever a song that I'd be accused of being a rapper for, it would be that one.
Okay.
But I've never been accused of that. And really, really quickly, it garnered a lot of attention, especially from a friends and family sort of circle.
Right.
And it's just, it comes up at parties. Even now, we're 15 years later or something like that. If I'm sitting around and we're at a campfire or something like that, one of the friends will inevitably go, "White Boy Can Rhyme."
Oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
And so did you do this electronically or on paper?
The way that I write, I like to have the melody so that I can kind of write the lyrics to follow it.
Right.
So there's an aspect of it that, for this song specifically, normally when I'm writing, it's acoustic guitar, pen and paper, and sit down and write a song. Mm-hmm. This one in particular, I was on my computer, should have been studying, maybe procrastinating a little bit, looking for things to do.
Yeah.
So I jumped into Logic Pro and started playing around with a couple drum beats, and then
totally not studying.
It's so easy when you have an interface right there to just plug your guitar in and then go over top of it a little bit. that's what I ended up doing. So it was live recorded guitar and then some synthetic or electronic drum kit and a little bit of, a little bit of accoutrement here and there. And it just came together really, really quickly, and I didn't expect it to happen. It was very, very fun to make.
Yeah.
And I think that came across, and I think that's another thing that kind of helped carry the tune.
Yeah, people can feel that.
Yeah.
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 Wow. Okay. Yeah. So today, nowadays, you still use paper and pen?
I do. Yeah. It's for me. I mean, I love the old songs that I've written. And I don't do as much songwriting as I'd like anymore. In the last year, I had the last year and a half, we've got a daughter. I started up my own law firm, and we've got a baby boy on the way in November. So life is pretty busy.
No big deal, right? Yeah. Wow.
But again, you know what? Keeping it as a passion as opposed to a rigorous sort of structured thing that needs to be done is really what means the most to me. So I love to be able to take a Thursday night and go out and play at one of the local venues or something like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually sitting down and putting pen to paper, it's not something I force myself to do.
Right.
So.
Well, congratulations on the babies.
Thank you very much.
And the law firm.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's got to be exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
You'll be writing songs about your kids.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I want to write a song about each of my kids, and so far I've just done the girls. So I have 2 girls and 2 boys.
Yeah.
So.
Are the girls easier to write about than the boys?
Well, no, they're just older.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of need to wait for their personalities to kind of bloom a little bit.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, they're 12 and 11, and then my boys are 9 and 7. So.
Do they play anything?
Yeah, they all play. Yeah, something. They're between the harmonica, fiddle, piano, mandolin, guitar.
Awesome.
They're all just kind of crossing over. They fight over the instruments, and then
That's
they'll
perfect.
buy another one. And
Yeah.
when I found out I was doing the songwriter series, I had my notebook, my songwriting notebook, my workbook, blah, blah, blah. And I started writing out all the people that I wanted on the program. And there's this one gentleman, actually, he used to be our family lawyer. And I know he wears those floral shirts. And
I think I might know who you're talking about.
And so I emailed him, and he was like, no, covers only. And so when my cameraman Justin said, oh, I have someone in mind, I said, okay, well, I don't know him, so this is our first time meeting.
Yes.
But it turns out it's your dad.
It is, yes.
Isn't that something?
It is. It's such a small world, and I mean, he's been one of the biggest influences on me from the first guitar where I talked about. He kind of showed me a couple of the chords and everything like that.
Yeah.
But also in the last, I would say 5 years or so, he's now retired, right? He's living out at a little beach community north of town, and him and a couple of his buddies decided that, you know what, now's the time. We're gonna get on the circuit, and we're going to make a band. So they're called the Sandy Beach Boys.
Yeah.
They like to joke around that they're on the old folks home circuit, but they've done lots of shows, and and come a long way as well.
Yeah, I heard them at the market, and they were fantastic. I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to stay and listen to them all afternoon.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to pass that along to the old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a fun connection. Lloydminster is such a small town.
It is, yeah, it is for sure. So
you do lots of live performing.
I do,
What
yeah.
kind of gear do you bring with you?
So that's evolved over the course of performing. In the pub days, I would have a Behringer sort of system that's all together that you just kind of roll in, set up the PA, plug in, and you get the mixers built in there and everything. And that was great. I used that for years and years. Since then, I've upgraded a little bit. So now I'm using proper PA speakers. And I've built myself sort of a custom pedal board that has a mixer built right into it. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to have that separate. And it's all, it all fits nicely on the board. And basically when I show up to a gig, it's pop the speakers up, plug everything into the pedal board, turn it on, and you're ready to go.
So like 10 minutes?
Very quick, yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
cool.
I think that might be close to my record, yeah.
Wow.
10 minutes, yeah.
How neat.
Yeah.
Cool. So how big of a crowd could you serve with that?
That kind of more depends on the speakers than everything else going on in the background. but I've played shows for Synovus and other companies where it's, 500 people at the exhibition grounds, and
Wow, cool.
same kind of thing. Not my speakers; those ones are Maz Entertainment. Shout out.
Yeah.
But very very similar in terms of setup. Show up, plug in, you're ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right on. And is this your A guitar that you have with you today?
This is B guitar.
B?
Yeah, this is B
You
guitar.
brought a B?
Well, they're all A guitars.
Oh, they're all your babies, right?
They're all A
Yeah.
guitars, but this one is the older of the two, and the one that has seen the most love. I'll say it that way. It's been with me for probably 15 years or so. It's a Cort guitar. I love the way that it sounds. It's a little bit smaller bodied. This is the one that came with me to Australia. You asked about humidity damage.
Okay,
So
there's a little
there's a little
evidence.
There's a
there.
little. It got stolen in Saskatoon and then returned out of the trunk of my car.
How did it get returned?
The pawn shop that was trying to sell it, I went in and offered to buy it, and they said, "Well, if it's really your guitar, then
Just give it to you.
no, we'll give it to you for half price." So I didn't have to buy it back, but
Well, that's good enough.
Yeah, it was, it is
yeah.
good enough for me. So this thing's been through the ringer with me. Absolutely. It's been, it's been well loved. There's
Ooh, I
scratches
like
all
that
over the back. And
It's not just flat on the back. That's
yeah,
nice.
yeah, there's a little bit of a rounded cove to it. The one that I've been playing most recently for shows is a Martin D16, and it's wonderful. It sounds amazing. It's a little bit bigger of a body, so I mean, they do each serve their purpose. This one's a little bit easier to just kind of chuck in the car and take with you where you need to go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I started off with a classical, and it was
Okay.
like $150.
Yeah.
And I think about a year in, I bought myself a pretty nice Western like steel string guitar,
Nice.
and I had that up until 3 months ago, and I just upgraded from that. But it was
Awesome.
so big bodied, and I thought after all these years of playing, and I'm now over 40, I feel like I just need something lightweight,
Yeah.
because it's just like my arm is like heavier and heavier as I go. And so I got this cute little one.
That is nice. I really like
it's
that.
smaller bodied.
Yeah.
I love it. It does not have that old
it.
guitar smell,
Yeah.
but man, is it comfortable.
Not yet. It'll develop that over
Yeah,
time.
I was actually thinking of getting a cigarette and putting it in there and letting it burn or something to
Yeah.
kind of get the
You got to play. It has to be earned. You got to go and you got to play the old brass
play-
joints where there's smoke and
I will never do that.
the old bingo halls used to be like that.
I know,
You could have got
yeah.
away with it there as
Yeah,
well.
I vaguely recall that
Yeah.
back in the
I
day.
had a pretty interesting tradition actually. So I never wanted to be a collector of guitars and instruments and stuff, because all of the old guys that I know who play guitar, they've all got 15 guitars and they play 2 of them.
I don't
right?
want to be like that either.
Yeah. So what I've done
Okay.
is each time I have a limit on how many guitars I can have. The limit is 3,
Okay.
and they each serve a purpose. Campfire guitar,
Right.
portable guitar,
Yeah.
nice guitar.
Yeah.
Apart
This
from
is
that,
reasonable.
exactly. I
right?
think so too.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm allowed to get a new guitar, but at that point, I got to get rid of one of the old ones.
Yeah.
And what I've
To
been
replace,
doing,
only 3 identities allowed.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so what I've been doing is kind of over the years, every musician can probably relate to this, but if you play, you'll have people that say, "Oh, can you teach me the guitar? Can you teach me the guitar?" Mm-hmm. And so I've always said, "Sure." I mean, the onus is on you to actually learn it,
Well, that's the thing. Is
but I'll teach you everything I know.
Yeah.
Right. The ones that actually took the initiative to learn it, and usually playing one of my guitars anyways. If I get a new guitar, I give it away. I give away the old one to them.
Oh.
Because they've learned how to play on it and everything. And to me, it's just a nice sort of reciprocity, right? Like it's
To encourage the next generation of people. And when you're just starting out, you don't want to buy anything decent because you're not sure.
Exactly.
That I like this.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a guitar problem right now because I have my big guitar that I really like. Then I have my classical that I really like. And then I switched to go left-handed. So then I have a crappy left-handed guitar that I bring to the beach. Then I have my nice left-handed guitar. And now I need to get a classical that I'm going to convert because my other classical is got a cutaway.
Okay.
So now I need to either keep my right-handed classical for my children, which I think is like I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I just want to get rid of it actually, but
Yeah.
part of me feels like I should just store it. But if you want
You know what? Kids can change things a little bit, and that might be a new category as well, right? So campfire guitar can probably do double duty.
A new category.
For me. But
Okay.
yeah, and maybe this is how
great.
people end up with 15 guitars, is adding categories. But I think, you know, as long as you're conscious of it, and each guitar has its place, has its use, and gets used.
Well, that's just it.
That's been the guy.
If it's been there and it's not been used for a couple of years, you know, it's like it's not, that category is fake.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I get the gears a little bit about this recently because I've and then I bought one for my daughter that's smaller bodied. Yeah. Because my right-handed one that's really nice is you know, too big for any medium-sized person. So it's a situation that musicians run into.
It is
along the way.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad problem to have either, though, right? You know, the more instruments you have around, especially with kids, the more they're able to kind of pick them up, experiment with them, see what they like, see what they don't like, and that kind of thing as well. So
yeah. When my daughter, my oldest, when she turned 2, I got her 2 shakers and a ukulele.
Yes.
All red.
Yeah.
That was her. And then all the kids, I had them all close together and they all played on those things. And
nice.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, like, that was like the beginning stages, and now to see them actually making their own music now. And my daughter, she can do a boom, chuck, chuck kind of a waltz, right? A 3/4 time. Yeah. And I couldn't believe, like, I was in the other room and I'm listening to it and I'm like, this is great.
Oh, that is like something to look forward to for me, for sure.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, she'll be tapping on a drum here pretty soon.
So there's lots of extra toys and things like that around. Like I've got a melodica for her, xylophone, a couple of congas and bongos and things like that.
That's funny. I had a melodica and the tube that it comes with disappeared.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can get just a screw-in mouthpiece that you just, you have to hold it up like a trumpet.
That's what we have. But no one's going to, everyone liked the
hose.
The cord.
Yeah.
So it's too bad, but that's what happens with kids.
It is, no doubt.
Kind of get stuck.
Yeah.
So, well, are you ready to play some music for us?
I would love to. Absolutely, yeah.
I can't wait to hear what you're going to play.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, let's do it.
My name is Tom Hall, and this is my song, Watch the Dust Settle. This song is about the feeling of safety and security when everything else in the world seems to be on fire, but you're with the person that you love and you're feeling safe and comforted in their arms. Dust settles on a crumbling city, a torn world all around. Concrete walls fall in slow motion and don't make any sound. But in this sheltered sanctuary, I've never felt any better. I'll wrap you strong in these 2 arms and we can watch the dust settle. Yeah, we can watch the dust settle. Snow falling on a frozen city, a shimmering world of white. Cold and barren as a lifeless ocean, oh, it don't seem right. But in this sheltered sanctuary, I've never felt so tall. I'll wrap you strong in these 2 arms and we can watch the snow fall. Yeah, we can watch the snow fall. Rain pouring on an empty city, trenches to the bone. Lightning crashes and thunder echoes shaking every home. But in this sheltered sanctuary, I've never felt this more. I'll wrap you strong in these two arms, and we can watch the rain pour. Yeah, we can watch the rain pour. Safe, safe and sound from the chaos around us, darling. Safe, safe and sound. 'Cause in this sheltered sanctuary, I've never felt any better. I'll wrap you strong in my two arms, and we can watch the dust settle. Yeah, we can watch the snow fall. We can watch the rain pour. We can watch the dust settle. This song is about being an old school guy in a new school world, not doing everything the way that everybody else does, and that being okay. I'm a throwback to the 1900s, make your granddad proud that his way of life lives on, lives on. The fast track just ain't for me, yeah, take all of your money and try to get what's free. And I know how to treat a woman, yeah, I know how to treat a woman right. 'Cause I'm a throwback, I'm a throwback, I'm a throwback. I'll bring it on back with the tip of a hat. Shave my face with a single blade, working outside like a slave all day to provide. Baby, I'll provide. Strong as hell, never lifted weights. Say thank you, ma'am, and to you, good day with a smile. And I know how to treat a woman. Yeah, I know how to treat a woman right. 'Cause I'm a throwback, I'm a throwback, I'm a throwback. I'll bring it on back with the tip of a hat. I pull out chairs, try not to swear. Hold your hand steady so you know I'm there. And if it gets colder, expect a coat over your shoulders. I pull out chairs, try not to swear. Hold your hand steady so you know I'm there. And if it gets colder, expect a coat over your shoulders. I pull out chairs, try not to swear. Hold your hand steady so you know I'm there. And if it gets colder, expect a coat over your shoulders. 'Cause I'm a throwback, I'm a throwback, I'm a throwback. I'll bring it on back with the tip of a hat. All right, this is the one that I wrote in my college dorm room. This one's called White Boy Can Rhyme. I Gotta kick it with a little sweet rap. Cause I'm feeling the melody and the rhythm is telling me gotta spit it in and get it on a track. So I sit back, reflect, relax, and write raps. When I'm flowing and I'm going, you better pick up the slack. Cause I shake until I give in and begin to write raps. White as I am, here we go again. Mix it all up with some tonic and some gin. I swear I don't do this all the time. White boy can rhyme. I know I throw a lot of words into the mix. Slapstick quick, but I need a slick gimmick to grip your attention and slip in a mention that my invention utilizes musical tension like whoa. Okay, back to the home key. Oh, you know me, feeling that I'm real and I'm just chilling with my homies. White as I am, here we go again. Mix it all up with some tonic and some gin. I swear I don't do this all the time. White boy can rhyme. Thank you. This song's called Somewhere in the Middle. I've met the girl who tries too hard. She always seems to give it up too easy. I met the girl, the one you're not. She goes out way too long on her feelings, but you're somewhere in the middle between lullabies and riddles. You don't know you're the perfect combination for me. I met the girl who cares too much for everything that others have to say. Then there's the girl all dressed in black. She always overcompensates and never seems afraid. But you're somewhere in the middle between coffee grinds and Skittles. You don't know you're the perfect combination for me. Yeah, you're somewhere in the middle between violins and fiddles. You don't know you're the perfect combination for me.
Tom, thank you for coming and sharing your songs with us. It was a pleasure meeting you.
It was a pleasure being here, and thank you very much. I also want to say a big thank you to Fourth Meridian for hosting us here.
Yeah, they've been really fantastic.
And Lloydminster. You know, you don't always think of places out on the prairies that are oil towns, that are, you know, hardworking, blue-collar places as being so musically inclined. But I got to say, my experience here in Lloyd has been nothing but spectacular, and it's because of people like you and initiatives like this. So I really do want to say thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in.
Right on. Goodness life.